Can you improve your painting in 5 minutes a day? That is the question I had for myself at the beginning of pleinairpril. I've only ever done a few outdoor paintings each year, and it's always felt like a big ordeal. This year, I really wanted to give it a try, and I decided to limit my painting time to 5 minutes a day. I got a small magnetic kitchen timer to bring with me to make sure that I didn't go over time. I know this seems very strict, but I always wanted to participate in pleinairpril, and I thought this would give me a chance to do that without getting burned out. I also decided to work on a very small canvas. I used a paper that was about 2 by 2 inches, 5 by 5 centimeters, because with 5 minutes, you can't really do much more than that. So it kind of just turned into a mini challenge. I brought a mini set with me. It was an empty pencil case that I filled with paint, and I brought a paper towel, a tiny little plastic water jar, and my brush. I used regular gouache, and I kept like a wet paper towel in there to keep the paint wet so that I could reuse it from day to day. I also had a viewfinder. I brought this with me. A little viewfinder to help me choose compositions, and it was a lot of fun to use. I thought about this on day 2, and I'm really glad that I pulled it out. It's interesting how so many things start to look like a painting when you look at them through this square. You can buy one of these or make one for yourself. Just cut out a square in a piece of cardboard or something like that. This setup actually worked quite well. I was really happy with it. I had only a couple adjustments that I made throughout the month, so I'll tell you what those are in case you want to try this out, so you can kind of skip ahead to the version that works. One of the things that I changed was the colors that I brought with me. I started out with primary colors, and I quickly learned that the color mixing actually takes so much time. And I was spending more time color mixing than I was painting. So the convenience colors became really important, and I added greens and like turquoise and just a few different shades that I felt like I was often trying to mix up. And another thing about the colors that I noticed was in the studio, I tend to use certain greens, like mostly cool greens. But when I was painting outdoors, I was noticing all these different colors and suddenly wanting to make my palette more earthy, more warm. So I added some colors I didn't expect, like a sap green. There were also a couple days where I went out to paint tulip fields, and I noticed that I needed this bright orange color, and I just did not have anything that was going to mix up a color that looked like that. So I ended up adding a really bright orange to my palette, which helped out a lot the second day that I painted tulips later on in the month. Another thing that I thought was interesting was a couple of these places, I really loved the setting, and I thought to myself, I would like to do a more detailed painting of that later. So I took a photo, and later on when I went home and I looked at my painting and then I looked at the photo, I was thinking, this is crazy. There's colors that I painted that I just cannot see in the photo anymore. And this is something that I knew was the case, but it was just crazy to see in reality how much more your eyes can see in person than what you get from photos, at least like my smartphone photos. There were definitely colors that, little nuances that were not being picked up in the photo. Shadows were getting pushed really, really dark, and things were like a lot more high contrast in the photo than what they felt like in person. And so seeing the evidence of that was kind of amazing, and it's really, really worthwhile to go out and get a chance to see those colors and paint them in person. And I would like to do some of those more detailed paintings, and now I'll probably use my little mini thumbnail as I make the larger version along with my photo reference, and that way hopefully I can make a painting that looks more like the real colors that were there outside. So another thing about my setup that I changed pretty early on was the size of the brush that I was using. I started off with a size 8 round brush that was pretty large. I always like to use the biggest brush that I can for as long as I can to try to get those big shapes and keep things simplified. But in this case, it really didn't work out, and it was mainly because the brush just held too much paint and needed too much mixing area, and everything was just too big for the little setup that I was using. I switched to a size 2 round brush, and it worked so much better. I noticed that I wasn't putting so much paint on the paper, so it was drying faster and I was able to move on. An early problem that I ran into with the first few days was that I felt like I was globbing so much paint onto the paper and it was just not drying, and with having a 5-minute timer, that was a problem. I couldn't wait for it to dry in order to layer. So if you're doing this exercise and you're not worried about the timer, then maybe that part isn't such a big deal. But for me, it ended up being much better after I switched to a smaller brush and was able to paint with a smaller amount of paint on the paper. Around the same time that I switched to a smaller brush, I also made a change to my painting technique that I was using. And I think this was really important for me for the rest of the month. When I started out, like I said, I was using like really big globs of paint. I was painting pretty thick, and honestly, I don't know where that came from because that's not really how I paint in the studio. I think I was just sort of copying what I've seen other painters do. I enjoy watching, plein air videos. I see a lot of painters that are painting in more of an alla prima style with a thicker gouache. And so that's just what I started doing. That's not really how I paint in the studio. I really go very thin to thick. And I think around day 4, I started working with a more watercolor approach and building up like I usually do. And it worked a lot better. That also helped with the issue of things drying more quickly. So using a thinner layer of paint, and it would dry in a few seconds, and then I could go on. So within the 5-minute limit, that was a big help. So painting the rest of the month went a lot better, I think, and I just painted a little bit more like how I typically do, but on a small scale. So there were a lot of positives that came out of this experience for me. Overall, I just had a lot of fun doing it. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel with going out every single day and painting. I thought, even with it only being 5 minutes, I still thought maybe it was going to feel like a chore after a while. But we were so lucky with the weather here. It was really nice the whole month. There were a couple days of bad weather, and I will say on those days it was a little harder to go out. And one day I actually had to paint in the rain. That was not great, but it was also a little bit of exciting. It was something different. I think if we'd had terrible weather and it had been like that the whole month, then I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it so much. But luckily it was just kind of a novelty on those couple of days that it was raining. It was fun to go to new places and different places. My original plan was just to paint anything that was in walking distance and just like local park and things. But I found that throughout the month, it really gave me the desire and incentive to like want to go out and find new interesting places to paint, which wasn't even the goal at the beginning, and that kind of just developed as the month went on. One thing that I really enjoyed about having the time limit was it really forced me to get a bit more loose and look for ways to imply detail and texture. And it took a while for me to get into that and get into a flow with that and have it actually work. I think the first, like a lot of the early paintings, I was trying to do more than I really could in that time. I felt like by the end I was more able to explore the like experimental side of things. There were definitely ups and downs throughout the process. There was some point around halfway to like 2/3 of the way through this where I felt like I kind of reached like a plateau or something. I felt a lot of improvement early on in the month, and then at some point I felt like it was I almost thought, should I keep going? Have I like learned what I have to learn from doing this kind of challenge? I'm glad I didn't stop there, because I do feel like in the last week of the challenge I had another like boost where I felt like I started to learn a lot again. So I'm glad that I pushed through that feeling, but there were definitely ups and downs, and I think anybody who's done any monthly challenge has probably experienced that. I think one of the hardest parts for me in this whole process was actually the video editing, since I decided to record and share this process. I think for anybody wanting to do this just for yourself, to enjoy the painting and that challenge and that learning experience, I 100% would recommend this. It was a great experience. I loved the painting part of it. And I think the only part that it started to feel bad to me sometimes was on days where I was not happy with the painting, and I felt some frustration because I knew I was going to be sharing it later on Instagram, and I was like, no, please. Yeah, that part was hard, but I wanted to be transparent and I wanted to show the good days and the bad days, so I did. But I think for anyone doing it for yourself and not putting that aspect of pressure on, I think it's a really, really wonderful experience. One benefit that came from this that I did not expect was that my love for outdoor painting like dramatically increased. I have always been someone who loves nature. I love painting nature scenes and landscapes. I have a lot of appreciation for nature and being outside in nature. But for some reason, I have had trouble putting those two things together, the painting and the enjoying of the environment. It's just always felt like a big chore to get outside and paint and take all the things with you that are needed, figure out like a comfortable setup. I've tried so many different setups. Up to this point, every year I've gone out maybe like 3, 4, 5 times and tried a bunch of different things that I didn't feel comfortable with, never got into a flow. But doing this challenge is kind of like a crash course in getting comfortable with outdoor painting. I mean, by the end of the month, I felt very at home and very at ease painting outside. It's crazy the transformation, what it felt like. And I noticed that all the time I think about painting outdoors now, and I see places and I want to do it, and it took away this weird barrier, this weird like discomfort that was there before. And since pleinairpril, now we're at the time of recording this, we're already a little more than halfway through May, and I've painted outside a bunch of times since then. I carry like a little kit with me, and I just like pull it out sometimes if I have some time to sit on a bench. And I was just not that person before. So if you're someone who like me, who want to paint outside, but you've struggled to actually make that step, I would definitely recommend like doing 5 minutes a day and just pushing through. You know, it might take a couple weeks, but you can speed run getting comfortable painting outside. And I kind of think it's worth it, because if I had not done this challenge, I don't know if or when I would have gotten to this point. But I'm really glad that I did, and I've been enjoying painting outside ever since I finished the challenge, and I can tell that it's just going to be something that I continue to do, hopefully forever. There are a couple comparisons that I thought might be fun to look at that I want to share with you. The first and the last painting of the month, I thought it was fun to see them together. I also want to show you the first cherry blossom tree that I painted compared to one later on in the month. That was day 13. At this point, I had changed my approach a lot, and I think it was a lot more effective and the colors were a lot less muddy. I'll also show you all of the windmills that I painted together. I think the third windmill is actually my favorite painting of the entire month, and it happened on day 15. So throughout the month, randomly, even early on, there were some good paintings, and then even later in the month, there were bad paintings. I definitely felt there was improvement overall throughout the month, but it was not always linear from day to day. And also, I'll share a collection of trees, and also some more trees, more focusing on the bottom of the tree, and some fallen logs. And also the tulip fields that I painted, because pleinairpril happened during tulip time here in the Netherlands. Well, I think that's it. I had a great time with this challenge. I really enjoyed it, and I hope it gives you some ideas for something that you might like to do, whether part of pleinairpril or just for fun. And I will see you next time. Bye.